welcome back to Dimitra's Dishes. So today I'm going to teach you how to make stuffed mushrooms. It's delicious. It's a nice side recipe to have, especially around the holiday season or really any time of the year. These are delicious. I'm going to take you over the ingredients, then we're going to get started. They're really easy to make. Before you get started, the ingredients come together really quick, so make sure you preheat your oven to 375 degrees. So that way you're not waiting for your oven when these are ready to be put in there. So you're going to need a pound of mushrooms. I like these baby portobello mushrooms, so you can use whatever you like. Use these. You could even use the really big mushrooms if you like. Whatever your favorite mushroom is, go ahead and use it. I'm going to move these to the side. And then I love spinach. It's kind of like the Greek style of making these mushrooms, so I'm putting spinach in these. Another thing I really love is these sun-dried tomatoes. I like getting the ones that are packed in oil rather than the dried ones. I feel like they're softer and there's much more flavor in them. Some whole garlic cloves, of course, some feta cheese, crushed red pepper flakes, some breadcrumbs. I like using panko. I have a whole egg in here with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of water. And then I have lots of shredded mozzarella cheese, salt, pepper, and olive oil, and oregano. I'll get the oregano later on, but we're going to need some oregano in this. So what we're going to do, we're going to put our spinach in our bowl right here. And then I'm just going to chop up these sun-dried tomatoes, and I'll add them to this mixture. So I'm going to put my sun-dried tomatoes in here. I'm going to crumble my feta cheese and put that in there as well. And then we need minced garlic. You definitely don't want big chunks of it in your stuffed mushrooms. You want it to kind of be there in the background, adding flavor. So sometimes when I don't feel like actually going at it with a knife, I just take this right here and I just grind it on here. And I'm going to use 2 garlic cloves. Doing it on this microplane really gets it to a very fine, almost like a mushy consistency, which is what I'm looking for when I'm making stuffed mushrooms, because the garlic is not pre-cooked. So I don't know, I don't like uncooked big chunks of garlic in foods. I like them to be soft and like delicate. And then I'm going to add my breadcrumbs in here. You can leave the breadcrumbs out if you're really not, if you're trying to avoid gluten or if you don't like their texture, you can totally leave them out of this recipe. Some crushed red pepper flakes. And then I'll whisk up this egg with the water, and there's about a couple tablespoons of olive oil in here. Put that in there. Some salt. Some black pepper. And I'm going to go and run and find out where my oregano went. I'll add that in here too. A little bit of dried oregano. Really simple. All you do is just mix these up until everything is nice and combined. See why you want to make sure that your oven is preheated? This comes together super, super quick. You can do this step the day before you're serving these, so that way you can be a step ahead, or you could even fill these the day before you're making them and just cover them in plastic and pop them in the refrigerator. Now, I've taken the stems out of my mushrooms, and then with a damp towel, I just went around and I wiped them. Never submerge mushrooms in water or clean them under running water, because then their texture will get messed up. They'll absorb the water and they'll be kind of rubbery and like really bad tasting when you go to eat them. And you want to get the maximum flavor out of these. So just take a damp cloth and do the way I told you. They really come pretty clean when you get them from the supermarket, but just take that extra step and just clean them off like that. And now we're just going to fill them up. I'm going to get going like this, filling them up, putting them in my baking dish right here until they're all done. So once your mushrooms are all filled up and they're in your baking dish, you want to take the mozzarella cheese that you have shredded and just put it on top of each mushroom, and it's going to melt and it's going to be cheesy goodness. And then you just want to take a little bit of olive oil and just lightly drizzle it on top of each one like that. I'm going to cover this with aluminum foil, and I'm going to tent it a little bit so that way the foil doesn't stick to the cheese. And then I'm going to pop this in my oven and cook it for about 40 to 45 minutes. By that time, the mushrooms will have cooked completely, the cheese will have melted, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. So my mushrooms are out of the oven, the cheese is melted, and they smell amazing. They just smell incredible. It just smells so good in here. Can't wait to eat this. They cooked for about 40 minutes, covered, and I didn't even need to uncover it for the cheese to get bubbly because it was already bubbly. We're gonna see if I could cut into one and show you what it looks like. I'll cut into this big one right here. Oh, so good and juicy and not the least bit oily or greasy. I hate it when I go out to a restaurant and I get a plate of stuffed mushrooms that is swimming in a pile of butter or oil or grease. It's just not appetizing. These are perfect. Look at that. I would bite into it, but I've learned the hard way that even though I can handle heat, I've burned my mouth plenty of times before, so I'm going to wait until it cools down. But I'll post the recipe in the description box down below. It takes you directly to the website, exactly to the page where this recipe is on, has all the exact measurements. So make sure you make these and let me know how they turn out. Give this video a thumbs up, show me some love, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you want to make next. I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone.